In a world where people judge you based on first appearance,
You know, our whole culture pushes the idea that teenage life is some sort of pinnacle, and then everybody dresses down, especially men. They look like overgrown 10-year-olds.
you don't want to be a narcissist and be like, well, I'm not going to play by those rules. The rules are the rules.
Most men dress like they're either just about to go fishing or just getting back. Look your best, be your best, get in the best shape.
You know, it doesn't hurt to look good, man. So get yourself a beautifully tailored suit. So here's something to consider. You live in a competitive world, and a lot of people don't understand that. In your own narcissism, you think you're great. But the question to ask is compared to what? It's not you against you all the time in the sphere of the public. It's also you against everybody else. And so a lot of guys are going to be like, well, I don't need to wear a nice suit. I don't want to wear nice clothing. I'm just being pretentious, whatever. But let's play this out, right? Like, you go in looking like crap and somebody looks a little bit better, they're going to have an edge on you. Obviously, they're going to have an edge on you, right? You're thinking, well, you know, if I dress up nice, women will think I'm pretentious. It's like, no, if you dress like crap, women will think you're socially unintelligent, narcissistic, selfish, infantile, and you don't get it. And that's not a good thing, right? So somebody dressed a little bit better, then somebody comes in dressed a little bit better than them. And so eventually you're probably going to reach a point of inflection where you don't want to wear like a wig and carry a specter with you like you're a royal king with a cape. You're going to be weird. But there's got to be a point to which you should dress that at least expresses that you're socially intelligent and concerned with the way that society sees you. And by the way, it is important to show that you are concerned with the way society sees you at some level, because if you are somebody that shows explicitly that you're unconcerned with the way society sees you, then you are no longer held to any standard of conduct, and nobody's going to trust you if you're not holding yourself to any standard of conduct at all. It's important to have some boundaries. I'm not saying that your boundaries have to be the same as everybody else's, but there is a standard of conduct you should aspire to in order to show people that you're somebody who's trustworthy to deal with. And one of the ways to achieve showing that you're holding yourself to a high standard of conduct and that you're socially intelligent is to have a tailored suit, okay? So this is where the custom suit and the tailoring thing comes in, right? As you aspire for higher levels in life, you work on your finances, you improve yourself in your everyday life, and you get to a certain level where you can afford nicer things. It's not a bad thing to get that nicer thing, whether to reward yourself or whether just to say to the world, hey, I'm here and I'm ready, you know? So get yourself a beautifully tailored suit. Tailored suits are designed specifically for your body, okay? Like, you might have one shoulder lower than another. Tailored suits are going to correct for that. Obviously, you want a suit that's designed by a professional, made by professionals, so that it highlights your strengths and puts your best foot forward. Listen, there's nothing wrong with highlighting your strengths. You know, when you're an athlete, and we all, we love sports, like, the tallest guys in basketball generally going to go center because they can block shots, etc. Not always the case, but generally. You want to play to your strengths because that's where you're going to be successful at. So a bespoke tailored suit is going to play to your strengths. Also, you just feel like a badass mofo when you're wearing one. That's not a bad thing. Now, off the rack can have some beautiful suits, and if you have a standard issue body, why not? But actually, most people do have certain bodily idiosyncrasies that need a little bit of correction. And that's a good thing, it like makes you, if your middle finger is just like crooked or something, I don't know. Anyway, so definitely a bespoke suit is going to add more prestige. It's going to add a better fit. It's going to add a better presentation to you. If you don't think looks are important, then consider that good-looking people actually earn more money than not so good-looking people. That's important. So one of the biggest, let's say, advantages that men have in many sense of the word is height, right? So we know that like men over a certain height are going to have an access to women much more easier, and that's just a fact. And then also, taller men tend to get promoted to leadership positions more, and they have a higher lifetime income salaries, whatever. So, investing into good shoes, for example, might not only be an investment into good shoes, it might also be an investment into like your actual lifetime earning potential, right? And that's okay. Listen, guys, here's the deal, right? I wasn't born too pretty. Like, everybody gets certain hands in life, and you have to learn how to play your hand. The best poker players are not the ones that are getting dealt the best cards, right? You can't control that. The best poker players are the ones who are the most socially intelligent, that understand the rules and play the rules and play the other players around the rules to their optimal advantage, right? So being smart, and we know this, right? Like, the number one correlation to income is not height or looks. Number one correlation is just intelligence today, right? You don't need to hunt. You don't need to throw spears. You just got to be smart, right? And it's smart to optimize for the way that you look to a certain degree. because it has actual real life implications on your income, on your romantic prospects. And then all of that sort of culminates into other things like the friend groups that you're around, the access to places that you have. It pays you well to optimize for your wardrobe. It really does. Obviously, there's good investments and bad investments. A not so bad investment would be an investment into just kind of looking and maximizing yourself to at least appear somewhat competent, right? You don't need to be a 10, but you don't want to be a 2, okay? With bespoke suits, you have a lot of control. Now, a lot of guys don't want the control. Like, I don't like it when my wife says, "What do you want for dinner?" You know what I like? Make it taste good. And she's very happy to do that. I'm very happy to eat that way. Life is good, right? So a lot of times working the professional tailor, they actually know more about you and your body than you know. Like, they know the perfect color configuration for you, the construction details that you need, the fabrics based on the things that you do and where you go and what's going to be optimal for you, on the trade-off between luxury and longevity and all these other factors, right? And there's a hierarchy of factors that a professional tailor knows. What you want to work with is you want to work with somebody who's really good, who's proven by the market, that many people trust because they hold themselves to a high standard and have executed to a high standard for many years. So you should really, really consider getting a great bespoke tailor to take care of you. The couple of $100 you'll spend, you won't remember. But the hotties you pull, look, here's what I say. Babe Ruth was a great baseball player. He had the record at the time for the most home runs, right? But also Babe Ruth had the record for the most strikeouts. People forget that. He was swinging hard, right? So he had some big misses. Nobody remembers the strikeouts, but everyone remembers the Babe. And then the customization, you can have things like fancy linings, like I have America in this suit. Don't ask me why, it's a long story. You can have different patterns that you like. You can have little fun details like functional cuffs and buttonholes and all the, mother of pearl buttons. You can be whatever you want to be, man. With a custom suit, you have a plethora of options. Obviously, start simple with your first couple. You want to just get the basics nailed down. But after a while, it becomes pretty fun. You can have all sorts of cool features and little details you can tell your friends about, as you're roasting marshmallows over a campfire after the nuclear holocaust that's inevitably going to consume us all. You can still sit with your children and tell them about the fine world of bespoke tailoring that they won't see for another 5,000 years as civilization rebuilds. That got weird. In a world where people judge you based on first appearance, you don't want to be a narcissist and be like, well, I'm not going to play by those rules. The rules are the rules. Yeah, this is what makes politicians terrible, by the way, right? Is that they have an idea of how the world should work in their head. And when their real life theories don't pan out in real life, what happens is they just try to force their theories down your throat, right? And it ends up in all sorts of horrific things like fire hydrants not having water because you're ideologically retarded. So you don't want to be trying to impose your own injunctions onto the world as to how it works. The world works how it works. The market doesn't care what you think. Rather, adapt to the market and become the most best and desirable version of yourself to the market, because that's going to garner the highest price bidders for you in all aspects and areas of your life. Dressing well is a part of that. It doesn't hurt to look good, man. As much as you might resent, like, oh, this, and that, I'm not like, whatever. It doesn't hurt to look good. Like, work on yourselves. Yeah, okay, it's harder than just being resentful, but you know what? It pays better too.